Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we're looking at the potential for a new currency coming out of the BRICS nations,
Yep.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa,
Right.
and what it could mean for the US dollar.
For sure.
We've got a NASDAQ article that breaks it all down.
Excellent.
Plus, we've got some expert opinions
Perfect.
that really get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
So could this new currency shake up
Interesting
the
question.
global financial landscape?
Well, it's fascinating
Okay.
because this goes beyond just an economic alliance.
Okay.
We're talking about a potential challenge
Right.
to the U.S. dollar, which has really been the world's go-to currency for decades.
For sure. So first things first,
Yeah.
what exactly is BRICS and why are they even considering a new currency?
Well, BRICS isn't just an acronym.
Right.
It represents a powerful block of nations.
Okay.
And get this, it's recently expanded to include new members
Interesting.
like Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
Wow.
So that makes it even more influential on the global stage.
That's huge. But why rock the boat with a new currency?
Well, there are a few motivating factors
Okay.
at play here. A lot of these nations, especially China and Russia,
Yeah.
they want to assert their economic independence
Okay.
and reduce their reliance on the U.S. dollar,
Makes sense.
particularly when it comes to international trade.
And I'm guessing U.S. sanctions are a big part of this too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For countries like Russia and Iran, which have been heavily targeted by sanctions,
For sure.
a new currency could provide a way to mitigate those effects
Okay.
and operate more freely within the global financial system.
That makes sense. It sounds like this is part of a larger trend of
Yeah.
de-dollarisation that
Yeah.
the NASDAQ article highlighted.
Uh-huh.
It seems like countries are exploring alternatives
Yeah.
to the US dollar, whether it's trading in their own currencies
Right.
or seeking out entirely new systems.
Exactly. We're seeing more and more countries like China and Russia
Right.
actively conducting trade in their own currencies.
Yeah.
And there was that interesting situation
Oh, yeah.
where India chose not to pay for Russian oil in yuan.
Oh,
It just highlights the complexities of global trade
yeah.
and the diverse motivations within the BRICS bloc itself.
Right. And even if a unified BRICS currency doesn't fully materialize,
Right.
just the fact that it's being seriously considered signals
Definitely.
pretty significant shift in the global financial landscape.
Absolutely. It raises some big questions.
Okay, like what?
Could this new currency promote greater trade and economic integration?
Interesting.
Could it actually benefit everyone involved?
Well, the NASDAQ article mentioned a few
Yeah,
potential advantages of a
Yeah.
BRICS currency.
for sure.
For starters, it could lead to much more efficient
Right.
cross-border transactions,
Absolutely.
potentially saving businesses time and money.
Precisely.
Oh.
And this ties into another potential benefit,
Mm.
increased financial inclusion.
Oh, wow.
A new currency could open up access to financial services
Okay.
for people who haven't had that opportunity before, especially in developing regions.
Wow.
Imagine the possibilities for economic empowerment.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
And then there's the potential for blockchain technology
right.
to revolutionize the whole system.
Uh-huh.
It could be more transparent,
Yeah,
more secure,
for sure.
and less susceptible to fraud.
It's certainly a compelling possibility.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away,
Okay.
let's take a closer look
All right.
at some of the specific projects that are in development.
Okay.
We've heard whispers of a blockchain-based BRICS payment system.
Uh-huh.
Is there something concrete in the works?
Now, this is where things get really interesting.
Uh-huh.
Fill me in.
Okay, so there isn't a specific BRICS digital currency yet.
Okay.
There's a project in development called the BRICS Bridge.
BRICS Bridge.
Yeah, it's essentially a platform
Okay.
that would connect the financial systems
Okay.
of all the member states
All right.
using central bank digital currencies
Uh-huh.
or CBDCs.
So it's kind of like their own version of the SWIFT system,
You got it.
but potentially powered by a blockchain.
That's a great way to put
That's
it.
awesome.
And speaking of potential SWIFT contenders, there's another project gaining momentum,
Okay.
Project mBrigde.
Okay, now you've really piqued my curiosity.
Go think that
Tell
out.
me more about Project mBrigde.
Okay, so Project mBrigde is a collaboration
Mm-hmm.
between the BIS Innovation Hub,
Okay.
Hong Kong,
Uh-huh.
Thailand,
Okay.
China,
Mm-hmm.
the UAE,
Right.
and even Saudi Arabia has recently joined the party.
Wow.
What's particularly intriguing
Oh,
the trading of central bank digital currencies
okay.
that are backed by,
Okay.
wait for it,
What is it?
gold.
Wait, gold-backed digital currencies. Now, that's a twist I didn't see coming.
I know, right?
Wow.
And this is where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
The NASDAQ article we have
Yeah.
quotes Andy Schectman,
Mm-hmm.
who's the president of Miles Franklin.
Okay.
He suggests that the BRICS unit currency,
Right.
which is still in the conceptual stage,
Okay.
could be backed by 40% gold
Wow.
and 60% local BRICS currencies.
So we have the BRICS bridge,
Yeah,
which could potentially use CBDCs.
right.
And then there's Project mBrigde,
Yeah.
possibly involving gold-backed digital currencies.
Uh-huh.
And somewhere in this mix
Right.
is the concept of this unit currency.
Exactly.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And we'll delve deeper into each of these projects
Okay.
in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
But before we move on,
Okay.
it's crucial to understand what all of this could mean
Right.
for you, the listener.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about abstract economic theories here.
Okay.
This has the potential to impact your everyday life.
That's a great point. Let's shift our focus
Okay.
and explore how a new BRICS currency,
Yeah.
in any of its potential forms,
Right.
could impact the North American economy.
Uh-huh.
What sectors should we be paying attention to?
Well, consider the industries that are heavily involved in global trade and finance.
Okay.
Oil and gas, banking, commodities.
Mm-hmm.
These sectors are likely to be at the forefront
Okay.
of any potential changes.
And what about everyday folks? Could
Right.
this impact our personal finances?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
A shift in the global currency landscape could affect everything,
Okay.
from the prices we pay for goods and services
Wow.
to the value of our investments.
Okay.
It's something we need to be aware of
Yeah.
and understand the potential implications.
So if a BRICS currency,
Hmm.
in any of the forms we've discussed,
Yeah.
does become a reality, what can investors do to prepare for this shift?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one we'll explore more detail
Yeah.
in the next part of our deep dive.
Right.
But for now, I'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Diversification is key.
Right.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to currencies.
Okay.
Start thinking about ways to diversify your investments
Okay.
to potentially mitigate any risks associated
Right.
with these potential changes.
For sure.
We'll dive deeper into specific strategies you can consider
All right.
in the next part of our deep dive.
This has been an incredibly insightful discussion so far.
It has been.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but there's still so much more to explore.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive,
Definitely.
where we'll delve deeper into the potential impact of a BRICS currency,
Sounds good.
particularly if it's backed by gold on the global monetary system,
Yeah,
and what that could mean for you.
absolutely. Welcome back. As promised,
Yeah.
let's unpack
Right.
what could happen if a BRICS currency is actually backed by gold.
All right, I'm all ears.
Okay.
Could this really shake things up that much?
Well, it could potentially trigger
Okay.
a major shift
Hmm.
in the global monetary system
Okay.
as we know it.
Yeah.
Imagine a scenario
Okay.
where a significant portion of global trade
Mm-hmm.
starts being conducted in a gold-backed BRICS currency.
Okay. I'm following you.
What happens then?
Well, it would create a new center of gravity
Okay,
for the global economy, potentially lessening the influence of the U.S. dollar,
right.
which has reigned supreme for decades.
So the dollar wouldn't disappear overnight,
Right?
but it'd start facing some serious competition.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that competition could lead to
Yeah.
a gradual decline in the dollar's value
Right.
relative to this new gold-backed currency.
And that would have ripple effects on everything.
Yeah.
From the prices of imported goods to the value of our investments. Precisely.
Okay.
It's a complex web of interconnected factors.
Yeah.
And predicting the exact outcomes with certainty
Right.
is difficult.
Okay.
There are so many variables at play,
Yeah.
kind of like trying to predict the weather.
That's a good analogy.
Uh-huh.
But one thing's for sure.
Yeah.
A gold-backed BRICS currency would definitely introduce a
Yeah.
new level of volatility and uncertainty
For sure.
into the markets.
Right.
So what can everyday investors like me do
Okay.
to navigate these potentially choppy waters?
Well, as we discussed earlier,
Yeah.
diversification is crucial.
Okay.
Don't rely solely on the U.S. dollar.
Right.
Think about diversifying your currency exposure.
Okay.
by exploring opportunities
Yeah.
to invest in assets denominated in other currencies,
Okay.
including those of the BRICS nations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some specific examples of how to do that?
Well, you could consider bonds,
Okay.
mutual funds,
Mm-hmm.
or ETFs that track foreign currencies. And don't forget about commodities,
Okay.
especially gold and silver, which have historically been safe haven assets
Okay.
during times of economic turmoil or currency fluctuations.
So gold could potentially act as a hedge
Yes.
against a decline in the dollar's value.
Historically, that's been the case.
Yeah, I remember my grandparents talking about buying gold during uncertain times.
However,
Yeah.
it's crucial to remember
Okay.
that investing in any asset,
Right.
including gold,
Mm-hmm.
comes with its own set of risks.
Okay.
Do your research,
Mm-hmm.
understand your own risk tolerance,
Right.
and consult with a financial advisor
Yeah.
before making any major investment decisions.
That's good advice. We definitely don't want anyone
Uh-huh.
making impulsive moves based on hyper speculation.
For sure.
So as we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive,
Well-
what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
The emergence of a BRICS currency, especially if it's backed by gold,
Yeah.
has the potential to significantly impact
Right.
the global financial system.
Okay.
It's important to stay informed
Yeah.
about these developments.
Mm-hmm.
Adapt your investment strategies accordingly, and be prepared for potential volatility.
Right.
Remember, knowledge is power
Right.
when it comes to navigating these complex financial waters.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground in terms of
We
the
have.
economic and financial implications.
Right.
But what about the geopolitical ramifications? Could a new BRICS currency reshape the balance of power
Yeah.
on the global stage?
Interesting.
We'll delve into those intriguing questions in part 3 of our deep dive.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Welcome back. We've explored the economic and the financial impacts of a BRICS currency.
Right.
But now it's time to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and look at the geopolitical ramifications.
Yeah.
Could this new currency actually reshape the balance of power on the world stage?
Well, it certainly has the potential to do so. You know, for decades, the U.S. dollar has reigned supreme
Right.
as the world's reserve currency.
For sure.
It's given the U.S. immense leverage
Okay.
and influence
Yeah,
on the global stage.
for sure. It's almost like a financial superpower.
You could say that.
But how would a BRICS currency change that dynamic?
Okay, so if a BRICS currency,
Mm-hmm.
particularly one backed by gold,
Right.
gains widespread adoption,
Yeah.
it could offer a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar
Okay.
for countries seeking to reduce their reliance on the U.S.
Right.
and the Western-led financial system.
Interesting.
This shift wouldn't just be about money.
Right.
It's about influence,
Mm-hmm.
alliances,
Okay.
and the overall balance of power on the global stage.
So countries could essentially bypass the U.S. dollar
Exactly.
for trade and financial transactions.
And that would have a ripple effect,
Okay.
potentially weakening the impact of U.S. sanctions,
Interesting.
which have been a key tool of U.S. foreign policy for decades.
Right.
It could also embolden countries
Yeah.
to act more independently on
wow.
the global stage,
Mm-hmm.
knowing they have alternative options for financial interactions.
So we could be moving toward a more multipolar world
It's certainly a possibility.
where power isn't concentrated in the
the-
hands of a single nation or bloc.
And that shift could have profound implications
Oh, sure.
for everything from international trade and diplomacy
Wow.
to global security alliances
Yeah.
and how nations navigate conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complex and evolving landscape
Right.
with a lot of potential for change.
The NASDAQ article also pointed out that
Yeah,
the BRICS nations themselves have a wide range
they do.
of political systems and ideologies.
Right. You have the democracies like India and Brazil,
Right.
alongside more authoritarian regimes
right.
like China and Russia.
Mm-hmm. And now with the addition of Saudi Arabia and the UAE,
Right.
each with their own geopolitical agendas,
It's a diverse mix.
it seems like a really diverse mix.
It is.
How could these nations even find common ground
That's a great question.
on something as significant as a shared currency?
Well, while their political systems and ideologies may differ,
Okay.
the BRICS nations seem to share a common desire
Hmm.
to challenge the existing global order,
Okay.
which they perceive as being dominated by the West.
Interesting.
The shared sentiment,
Yeah.
a sort of anti-establishment feeling,
Yeah.
seems to be a powerful unifying force.
That's fascinating how a financial instrument like a new currency
I know.
can become a symbol of broader geopolitical shifts and
Yeah.
aspirations.
Right.
So even if a BRICS currency doesn't fully materialize
Right.
in the near future,
Yeah.
the very fact that it's being discussed so seriously
Definitely.
is a significant development in itself.
Absolutely. It signals a growing appetite for alternatives to the U.S.-led system
Right.
and a potential rebalancing
Okay.
of global power dynamics. It's a story that will continue to unfold
Yeah,
in the coming years,
for sure.
and one that's worth watching closely.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive
It does.
into the potential emergence of a BRICS currency.
Yeah.
We've explored the economic, the financial, and geopolitical implications of this complex and evolving issue.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Of course.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights into the forces shaping
Yeah.
the future of global finance and geopolitics.
Absolutely.
Remember, staying informed and understanding these trends is crucial
It is.
for navigating the world ahead.
For sure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep diving deep.
Always.